Another hot take. I don't like Chipotle.
Okay.
I don't think it's that good.
This podcast is over.
This is
The Man Cave Podcast.
the Cleveland Browns will be in the Super Bowl.
Giannis is the greatest basketball player of all time.
Friends is not a good TV show. Welcome back to the Man Cave Podcast, where we talk all things sports, fitness, and just life. Josh, how you doing today?
I'm doing fantastic. How about you?
Episode 4, man. I'm ready. I'm excited. This is going to be a big episode. Talking about a lot of NFL stuff. J.K. Dobbins' injury. Going into that about, if stars should be playing in the preseason. Also going to talk about the big Cam Newton news being completely cut.
Right, out of nowhere.
Mac Jones, I guess he's the guy now. Going to talk about other NFL headlines, our predictions for certain things. And yeah, it's going to be a good episode. But first things first, let's get into the fire and all.
Starting off with pumpkin spice lattes.
Josh, this is fire. I just had one today.
No.
I've had 3 in the past week at Dunkin' Donuts.
Addicted.
I'm low-key addicted. I'm a white girl now, honestly. They are very, very good. Fire. All right, Josh, for you, I got Gardner Minshew being traded to the Eagles.
I think this is fire.
Not for Gardner Minshew, though.
No, I think it is fire for Gardner Minshew because I don't think Jalen Hurts is really going to do much this year. And
Pretty sure he's a third string, though. He's still got to worry about the second stringer.
who's the second stringer?
Don't ask me. All I know is that I'm pretty sure he's a third stringer. So he ain't worried about Jalen Hurts. He's worried about the second stringer, who I have no idea who it is, but
I think it's fire.
I know Gardner
regardless.
Minshew does. You think it's fire, though?
I think it's fire regardless. So
Whatever.
How about college football week 0 this past week?
Oh, yeah, it was this past Saturday. I mean, week 0 in general is gnaw, but this Saturday starts week 1, and there are some really big, exciting matchups. So week 1 is fire, but the week 0 is kind of gnaw. I mean, it was fire that college football was back, but the matchups we had was a gnaw.
All right, I feel you.
How about Donda finally dropping this past week?
This is probably one of the most polarizing albums,
That's facts.
in the past, I don't know how long.
And very controversial.
You either love it or you hate it. To me, I think it's pretty good. I think it's fire.
Yeah, I liked it.
It's not a 10, maybe like
Some people were saying it's the greatest of all time.
No, well, that's
They're
just
wrong.
Kanye D writers, but I think it's fire.
Yeah.
All right, and how about this one? Campus Legends.
Oh, this is fire, Josh. This is really cool. EA never changes the game. A lot of people complain about that, but this is actually them changing their game for the better. It's like 8 or 10 college teams, and the cool thing about it is it's all time. So I think one of them is Texas, and you can play as Vince Young, which is really cool. Florida's got Tim Tebow and Percy Harvin, which is really cool. So yeah, this is fire. Was really unexpected too.
I think it's coming with the new NCAA game.
Oh yeah,
I think that's why.
I hope that comes out. By the way, that's a fire.
It is coming out. It's confirmed.
Oh really? Can't wait. How about Juju completing the crate challenge?
I think it's pretty fire. You don't really see many
I think it was funny.
successful attempts. So
He did a real good job at it too.
I mean, it's kind of risky, the weeks or the season starts
Yeah,
in a
especially
week. So
Juju too. He had a lot of controversy last year
yeah,
on and off the court.
I think it's pretty cool though. You don't really see many successful attempts.
Yeah, I agree with you on that, Josh. But that pretty much wraps up this segment of the fire and all. Next up, Josh, I want to talk about. I just had a orientation for a new job at Chili's. I'm gonna be a server, which is kind of exciting.
Making minimum $1.
Yeah, $2.67. But those tips are gonna be nice.
I mean, you
Wait.
better be hoping they are.
Where do you work at?
Food Line.
You work at Food Line? You've been there for a while, ain't you?
Yeah, going on 2 years.
Yeah, this is gonna be my 4th job. I'm kind of a job whore. This is my 4th job in 2 years.
And you're still in high school.
Yeah, I'm still in high school, 18. But I think this could be interesting. Just found out though that I started the 14th, so that'll be interesting.
There you go.
You ever been to Chili's?
I have.
You like it?
Chili's is fire, yeah.
I only had it a few times. I mean, it didn't really blow me away or nothing.
It blows my socks off.
Okay, yeah. I mean, hey, however it blows you, it blows you. I'm more of an Outback guy.
I mean,
Outback is nice.
yeah,
Outback's fine.
I feel like they don't really compare. I'm just saying Chili's is good, but Outback is obviously way better.
Yeah.
If you ask me.
Now I do have kind of a hot take about a certain restaurant named Olive Garden. This is gonna be a hot take, so anyone watching, get ready. So growing up, people always say how Olive Garden. They always would joke and say that, oh my god, I thought Olive Garden was the fancy restaurant.
Right.
The quirky girls. Well, Olive Garden sucks. Okay.
Okay, buddy.
And also, everything is under like $20. So I don't know where they're getting at this, that they thought it was the fancy restaurant or the expensive restaurant. But that shit's awful. I ain't never been to Olive Garden, left there and be like, wow, I'm really glad I went there. Every single time you leave, you're too stuffed. You can't walk. Immediately when you go home, you gotta take a nap. You can't go on with your day.
So your problem with the restaurant is that you go home with a full stomach.
That, and also I'm tired of people saying, oh my god, I thought it was the fancy restaurant. I thought it was the expensive restaurant. When it ain't. It literally, everything's under $20. You can get a fettuccine alfredo with shrimp for $18.
So your problem with Olive Garden is that people say it's good.
That, and that they think they're quirky, and that their only personality trait is that they thought Olive Garden was the fancy restaurant.
So it seems to me that your problem is with the people that like Olive Garden and not Olive Garden itself.
I ain't saying that, but if you want to take it that way, you take it that way. I'm just saying
taking it that
that
way.
Olive Garden is overhyped. It ain't good. And every single time you leave, you got to go home and take a 2-hour nap, and then you're done for the day.
Them food comas be hitting, though, so I don't know what you're complaining for.
I'd much rather go to Outback and get a nice steak, a little sweet potato, a salad, and feel much better about myself after the fact. You know, when I go to Olive Garden, I just don't feel good about myself. I'm too stuffed to even do anything. I'm just like walking to my car, just really slow, and it's like, ugh.
Well, personally, I've never heard anybody complain about being too satisfied from a restaurant, so I don't really
See, that's
know
where
how
you're
to
wrong.
counter-argue
That's where you're
this.
wrong. No, you're wrong there.
So
You can't tell me you ain't never been to Olive Garden, left, and been too stuffed to even do anything. Because it's all carbs.
No, I mean, I go there to eat food.
Well, you're wrong.
And then I eat food,
Yeah, you're wrong.
leave.
I'm
feel
sorry,
good
but you're
about
wrong.
myself.
Were you one of those that said that you thought that was the fancy restaurant? Were you one of those?
No.
You one of those quirky girls?
No, definitely not a fancy restaurant. I mean, maybe compared to some other basic restaurants, it's fancier, but I wouldn't call it fancy.
I mean, I don't know. I'm just tired of people saying, oh, it's a fancy restaurant. Oh, I thought it was expensive, because it ain't. And you ain't quirky for that. Just saying. Hey, I'm calling people out there. I don't give a shit. I know I want to talk about restaurants. You know, do you have any like preferences? Like, what's your like favorite restaurant or anything like that?
I mean, I don't know if it's considered fast food or restaurant. I'd consider it a restaurant. Chipotle is S tier. I could live off Chipotle.
I wasn't expecting you to say that, but another hot take. I don't like Chipotle.
Okay.
I don't think it's that good.
This podcast is over.
It's just, I think it's a little overhyped.
That's crazy to me.
I'd rather go to like Chick-fil-A or Taco Bell even. I've been on a Taco Bell kick.
I think Taco Bell is just pretty basic. I don't really see.
I only really go to Taco Bell when it's like late at night. I feel like that's the only time you go to Taco Bell is when it's like 12 o'clock at night and you don't know what else you want. You know, it's really only open is McDonald's or Taco Bell. And I don't like McDonald's.
I'm taking McDonald's over Taco Bell.
Really?
Yeah.
You like McDonald's like that?
Facts. Yeah.
I hate McDonald's. Like sometimes I'll crave the chicken nuggets, but most of the time that's about it. I never get the burgers. I think they're awful.
I mean, a lot of people say their chicken is not actually chicken. I don't care. It tastes good.
They got good coffee.
I'm finna eat that.
They got good coffee. It's like super cheap, like iced coffee with whatever you want in it.
Right.
But other than that, I mean,
Then McFlurries be hitting too.
oh yeah, they be hitting good. But yeah, I usually ain't never really been much of a Taco Bell guy, but recently I have been. Like I got it the other night ago, a couple nights ago, and it's always at night. Another fast food restaurant I really like is Panera. I've been working there the past couple months, and that food is really good. I don't think I'll be getting it after I leave because it's mad expensive, but that shit's pretty good.
The one time I had Panera, they gave me a sandwich with sourdough bread, and I hate sourdough.
Yeah, sourdough.
So
You don't like sourdough?
Yeah.
You could got a different bread. We have multiple different
Well,
options.
I didn't know it came with sourdough, so
It's also just way too expensive. That shit is expensive. I really ain't much of a fast food guy though.
I've got a grudge against Panera because of the
Really.
sourdough.
If we're talking about fast food restaurants, I don't think we can not talk about Chick-fil-A.
That's
The
facts.
best. The number one fast food restaurant out there. Consistent. When you go there, you know exactly what you're going to get. They're quick. They're nice. It's Chick-fil-A.
Honestly,
It's
the
Chick-fil-A
best thing
way.
about Chick-fil-A, in my opinion, and I mean, obviously the food is great, but their lines are about twice as long as any other fast food restaurant, but they're
But you in and out of that bitch in 2
quicker.
minutes, yeah.
They're even quicker than
I'm pretty
other
sure,
fast
like,
food
once you
restaurants.
get your order taken, because I used to know a Chick-fil-A worker. Like, we went to the gym together, and we would always talk. Once you get your order taken, it's got to be 3 minutes or less. Like,
Yeah.
you know what you're going to get at Chick-fil-A. They're consistent. They're number one.
Now flipping the script to inconsistencies, we've got Cam Newton, former MVP, just a few years ago,
Yeah.
now being cut after 3 preseason games.
Does he even have a job right now? Did he get picked up?
No, not yet.
So he's still jobless right now.
Right.
He went from being an MVP, 2015, to now being cut. Waking up at 5:30 in the morning for nothing.
Yeah.
That was what they all talked about last year. That's all they talked about. Is him waking up at 5:30 in the morning, doing his thing, and now he's being cut. And I guess now Mac Jones is the number one for the Patriots. What do you think about that?
So I think Mac is the better of the two.
Really?
Yeah.
You think Mac Jones is already the better quarterback than Cam Newton?
Yeah.
Rookie quarterback who the only reason why he was good last year was because of his receivers. He had the best receivers in the country.
Yeah, apparently you didn't watch too much Cam Newton last year. He just wasn't good.
Yeah, I mean, I ain't saying Cam Newton's good. He's terrible right now.
Right. I'm not saying Mac Jones is good either. I'm just saying,
saying
he
he
is better than Cam Newton, which is a very low bar.
I still don't think they should have cut him completely. Who's their backup now?
So I'm pretty sure Jarrett Stidham is now
Oh yeah,
their
that's
backup.
right. He sucks too.
Right. I mean, I would have taken Cam as a backup, but
Cam Newton does have a really high ego still for not being good anymore.
right. And I actually heard he's not vaccinated, so I feel like that probably played a part in Bill Belichick.
I mean, I ain't
cutting him.
vaccinated either, so I won't say anything about that. I mean, it's his choice, but that could definitely play a part. And maybe Mac Jones is vaccinated. Maybe that was it.
Yeah, because we've had coaches like Urban Meyer who have came out and said that they have taken vaccination,
Very seriously.
and taken it into account.
And then we have
when
other
cutting
teams
players.
like the Vikings who I think like 2/3 of their team ain't vaccinated.
Right.
One of those being Kirk Cousins, the starting quarterback. One note I have here is that Mac Jones, his Pro Football Focus grade was at 92.2, which is actually the highest since they've ever graded preseason. That's higher than Patrick Mahomes at quarterback. So that's a good sign for Patriots fans. I don't think that's gonna keep going because it is the preseason. He's playing against second stringers, third stringers, or
Right.
people just trying to make the roster. But it's a good sign. I still don't think they should have cut Cam Newton. I don't think Mac Jones is ready week one. I still believe most of his success in the college ranks was because of his receivers. Devontae Smith and Jalen Waddle were two of the better receivers in the nation, one of them being the Heisman.
Right. Well, you have Devontae Smith winning the Heisman,
Yeah.
and then Jalen Waddle being taken 5th overall.
Yeah, and I think Jalen Waddle is better. I think he just got hurt.
Well, he was
For
he was
the last
projected
half-
to be
yeah.
better going into the year. So.
I actually have Jalen Waddle playing very good this season. We'll talk about that later. I ain't saying Devontae Smith's going to have a bad year or nothing. He's a great player himself. It's just I believe Jalen Waddle, if he wasn't injured, he definitely would have had a case for Heisman. But that's neither here or there. They
Right.
both are great in their own way.
Now Cam Newton, I don't think he's going to have much trouble finding a new
No,
job.
he would definitely get a job.
I mean,
I think he could still compete for, depending on what team he gets picked on, maybe for a starting job.
the Texans might be looking for a starter. They're looking to do something with Deshaun
Watson, I don't know what's going to happen with him. What's going on?
I don't see him playing another snap for the
You don't
Houston
think?
Texans. No.
See, that's the thing. I've been a really big Deshaun Watson fan. I think he's really good.
Right. Yeah,
I think he's
I
still a
liked him
top
out of
5
Clemson.
quarterback. I
Yeah.
think he's still a top 5 quarterback in
100%.
the league. And I hope, his next team takes into account his, that he's still a very good player. He just has possibly made a few mistakes, or maybe all the girls are coming out lying.
I'd say more than a few.
Yeah.
It's up to 40, but
How many of those are true, though? I mean, I can't speak for the girls. Maybe they are true. But I do hope Deshaun Watson can keep a job because he is a great talent that I love to watch in the NFL.
Right.
Same with Cam Newton back in his prime. He was of the most successful dual-threat quarterbacks we saw in the NFL, especially for his size. We had players like Mike Vick who were
Right.
smaller and quicker, but Mike Vick, he's a big guy, and he was still quick, and he could throw. That was in his prime, at least, in his 2015 MVP, where he led, the Panthers to a title run.
Right.
And after that, he just ain't been the same. I don't know what happened. It's been really sad to watch a great player turn into what he is now.
He's
and
fell
now,
from grace.
yeah, I hope he can get picked up and hopefully compete for a starting job and hopefully get back to what he once was, or at least half of what he once was. But the Patriots are a good organization. Bill Belichick is one of the greatest coaches of all time. They know what they're doing, so they must see something in Mac Jones that they think he can be a Week 1 starter in the NFL. I don't.
I mean, like you said, he looked really well in the preseason. So
I mean, bunch of players look good in the preseason. Every backup quarterback looks good in the preseason.
Right.
Besides Dwayne Hoskins for the Steelers, he looked awful the one game that he started for us.
Still made the team.
I don't know why they made big headlines that he made the team. Like Dwayne Haskins is expected to make the 53-man roster.
Well, I mean,
I didn't think that was like big news. Like
it is big news because
he
he was the 17th overall pick just a few years ago. So, I mean, it's not necessarily a big news because he's a good player, but big news because he was drafted so high. He has high expectations.
And now he's like possibly only being a third-string quarterback for us.
Yeah.
That has to do with off-the-field things as well. But, the talent is there. I just, we still got Ben Roethlisberger, so we'll see after he retires. Speaking about the Steelers and the AFC North, let's go over to the Baltimore Ravens. How do you think their offense is gonna do this year? Drafting Rashad Bateman, this is Lamar Jackson's third or fourth year in the league. Still got Mark Andrews, Hollywood Brown.
So I think Rashad Bateman was exactly what they needed.
Yeah, he's a big physical receiver that they needed.
Right.
Because Hollywood Brown, he's a speedster. Mark Andrews is their big tight end, and now they have another threat, deep ball.
Right.
Do you think it's gonna help any?
Oh, yeah, absolutely. I think they're going to see big improvement in the passing game.
Because that's the big thing we've seen with the Ravens is, Lamar Jackson can run, but Hollywood Brown hasn't shown many glimpses that he can be the number one receiver. So maybe Rashad Bateman can take that role.
No, I still see Marquise Brown as being the number one receiver, but I think Rashad Bateman is going to take pressure away from him. And Hollywood Brown doesn't need to be doubled every play. It's going to open up Hollywood Brown more.
We'll wait and see because, they're going to need it with J.K. Dobbins out.
Right. And
possibly for the whole year?
Last year, the Ravens had, I think it was 3 700-yard rushers.
Yeah, they used all three of the running backs.
Right.
And Lamar Jackson, obviously. Now it's going to be Gus Edwards because I'm pretty sure J.K. Dobbins is out for the whole year with a ACL tear that happened in the preseason, which is awful to see. You never want to see big stars get hurt in the preseason. Do you think that stars should be playing this much in the preseason? Because the Ravens, there was the last preseason game. There's no reason players like J.K. Dobbins should be in the game. For my Steelers, Ben Roethlisberger only played 3 series, and that was in the very first game. Najee Harris, who's a rookie running back, didn't even play that much.
All right, I don't really understand Najee Harris not playing as much. I think if anybody has to, or should play in the preseason, it would be rookies and second, third year guys.
I think that's just, as a Steelers fan, I think that was just us seeing other guys play. I think Najee Harris, for the most part, played one half of each game. I would like to see more. He really didn't do much in the running game. He would look pretty well in the passing game. But our other players, like Juju, Deontay Johnson, and many other stars across, not just the Steelers, but across the league, they don't play as much in the preseason because it's mainly for second, third stringers and fringe roster players trying to make the team. We don't need to see all the stars play because we know what they can do.
Right. So the Ravens were playing the Washington football team when J.K. Dobbins got hurt, so I happened to be watching.
You watching that? Okay.
Yeah, and the Ravens had all of their offensive starters in, including Lamar Jackson. And personally, I just don't really understand.
When was it? When was the?
It was the final preseason game.
Well, yeah, what quarter was it?
Oh,
when the injury happened.
It was mid first quarter, maybe second quarter. But there was no reason for them to be in at all.
No,
Lamar Jackson should not be in. He has already proved he's an elite force.
What about the Washington team? Did they have their starters in?
For the first 2 games, they played their starters a lot.
Okay.
Then the third game, they didn't have any offensive starters in and played a few defensive starters. I didn't want to see Chase Young in at all. He's already proved he's a great player.
Was he in a lot?
The first 2 games, yeah, he played a good bit.
Yeah, I don't even think T.J. Watt, our star defensive player, was in that much. I think the Steelers have always been a team that they play their backups in the preseason, which is the way it should be. And John Harbaugh said after that game that they're one of the teams that play their starters the least amount.
Right.
And it still happened to them. So it could happen to any team. We ain't calling out the Ravens for playing their stars. It just sucks to see it happen to a star running back and a young player at that too.
Right.
And it sucks for the Ravens. Sucks for J.K. Dobbins, but that's just part of the game. I wish that it didn't happen. That's all I'm saying.
Right. I'm with you.
But you can't stop injuries from happening.
So I guess we might as well go ahead and continue on with the AFC North. On to the Cleveland Browns.
Ooh, my Super Bowl pick.
Right, I saw a article about Baker Mayfield being the franchise QB of the Browns. Do you buy into that?
I do. I ain't saying like I'm a Baker Mayfield stan or nothing, but they definitely need to let him loose because he is a really good player, and I think they've kind of held him back these past couple years. Part of that being that he's had different coaches every single year he's in the league. This is actually his first year in the league that he has had the same coach from the season before.
Right.
I think that's going to be big for Baker. And I think if they let Baker Mayfield loose, the Browns will be in the Super Bowl. If they hold him back, they may not.
So I'm not gonna sit here and say Baker Mayfield's not a good player. I think he's just very inconsistent. One week you'll get Patrick Mahomes.
Yeah.
Next week you'll get
Whatever. Nick
Deshaun
Foles.
Deshaun Kaiser, right?
Deshaun Kaiser.
I mean, he's not a bad player. He's just you never
I think
know
that's
which one
part
you're
of
gonna
that
get.
is him just having inconsistency in play calling from his coaches, them holding him back. I think the Browns, they have two really good running backs, and I think they like to run a lot. But I think that with all the weapons they have around him, there ain't no reason why Baker Mayfield should not be let loose. You know, he's got Jarvis Landry. He's also got Odell Beckham returning this year. The defense is really good. You know, Myles Garrett, and they also got Jadeveon Clowney that they picked up in the offseason, who, you know, he ain't as good as he used to be like on South Carolina in his early days in the NFL. But that's still a big name.
Yeah.
And on the other side from Myles Garrett, it could be good.
A big name, but I mean, I don't really see him making
like
much of an impact.
Kind of like J.J. Watt. You know, he was moving around, you know, before he went to the Arizona Cardinals, he was thinking about going to Pittsburgh. And I was like, you know, it's J.J. Watt, and it would be cool to have all three of the Watt brothers. But J.J. Watt really ain't the same. It would just be a big name.
Thing is, J.J. Watt right now and Jadeveon Clowney still don't compare.
I ain't comparing them.
They still don't compare.
I'm just saying it's similar. A similar situation.
Right.
But what do you think about the Brown situation? Do you think Baker's the franchise quarterback?
No, I think he is obviously far and away the best quarterback they've had the past
15 years?
Yeah, however long. But I do not see him being the answer to the franchise. He's not the franchise quarterback. Like I said, you need a consistent quarterback in today's NFL, and he's just not that.
I think this is a proven year for him.
Yeah, it really is. He's got Stefanski for
his second year. Yeah. So, you know, if he shits the bed this year, I'll eat my words. But I don't think he will. I think he'll be all right.
He's had every excuse in the world the past few years, and they're all out the window this time.
He had some big moments last year. He had some really good moments, some really bad moments. Like you said, inconsistent.
Right.
He's going to have to fix that this year, and if he does, the Browns are going to the Super Bowl, like I've said. You don't believe me? A lot of people don't, but I truly do believe, and this is coming from a Steelers fan, that the Browns have a good shot at making the Super Bowl this year, just with the team they have, second-year coach, Baker Mayfield's talent. They just got to let him loose. Speaking of the Super Bowl, like I've been saying, let's talk about our predictions for the end-of-season NFL awards. Josh, you want to start? You want me to start? What we got?
I'll go first.
Okay.
So we'll start with the rookies because I feel like that's
So like the offensive rookie and the defensive rookie?
right.
Okay.
So offensive rookie of the year, I think this one to me is a no-brainer. I got Trevor Lawrence.
See, that I was thinking either Trevor Lawrence or my pick. I picked Jalen Waddle.
Okay.
Trevor Lawrence, I'm scared of the offensive line for the Jaguars. I'm scared of the Jaguars coaching. You know, like I said in the previous episode, that I think Urban Meyer might leave, so that could cause some drama. I'm, doubting Trevor Lawrence's talent. I'm just worried about the team around him.
I think the team around him is pretty good. I mean, outside of the offensive line,
okay,
he's got a very solid wide receiver core with Kenny Golladay. They signed in free agency. DJ Chark, Laviska Shenault. So
they're casuals. Honestly,
I mean,
they're casuals.
James Robinson. I think
James,
he's got a team around him.
He's nice. Other than that, I think everyone else is casuals. I'm just worried about Urban Meyer leaving and causing a lot of turmoil in the offensive line. But I ain't down Trevor Lawrence's talent. But I think Jalen Waddle is going to be a special talent. I think he's really good. I'm kind of worried about the quarterback that's throwing to him. I think Tua sucks.
We want to talk about quarterbacks with a prove-it year. I think this is Tua's prove-it year.
I don't think he's going to prove it either.
I don't think he will either.
Yeah, I'm on the same boat with you, Josh. Moving on from offensive rookie now to defensive rookie, I have Jamin Davis out of Washington football team.
Yeah, I mean, I'd love to see it back-to-back defensive rookie of the years for the Washington football team.
Oh, yeah, that's right with Chase Young last year.
Yeah, so, I mean, I don't really see it happening as I picked Pat Surtain.
Quarterback, right?
Yeah.
Okay, where'd he go?
Denver.
Okay.
He had a good preseason, so
Okay, he did.
Yeah.
Another good corner I see is J.C. Horn. Pretty sure I picked up by
Right.
Carolina. That's gonna be a good corner.
right.
Defensive rookies. There's so many good ones.
Yeah.
The only reason why I picked Jamin Davis is because he's gonna be a linebacker that's gonna pick up a lot of sacks. And
That's fair.
we've seen with defensive player of the years, sacks are what get you that award.
Right. Okay. So for comeback player of the year, I picked Nick Bosa, solid player coming off a torn ACL. Was it
Yeah.
torn Achilles? Maybe.
Yeah.
So
Gruesome injury.
right.
He was really good player. He's gonna pick it up right where he left off.
I
It's
think
good
he's the
pick.
better Bosa brother. if you
Yeah,
ask me.
I actually think Joey Bosa is kind of overrated.
Yeah, I agree.
I don't think he's okay, but he ain't that good. I got Christian McCaffrey.
Okay.
Easy
yeah,
pick.
That's fair.
Yeah, ain't no explaining there. Moving on to offensive player of the year. This is a tough one.
Yeah.
There's a lot of ones you can pick. I went a little unorthodox here. I went with D-Hop, DeAndre Hopkins, at Arizona Cardinals.
And I just don't
Hey,
see this happening.
yeah,
to be
I
honest
mean,
with you.
It's a long shot. I'm sure the Vegas odds ain't got D-Hop even in it. But honestly, it could happen because I think the Cardinals are actually going to be a surprise a lot of people this year. I think Kyler Murray is going to prove it. We're talking about prove it years. This is kind of another prove it year for Kyler Murray. He got hyped up a lot last year. He was up and down. Cliff Kingsbury, the coach, this is also prove it year for him. I think if they don't perform this year, Kingsbury's out. And honestly, Kyler Murray, he ain't out, but the fan base is going to be very unhappy. So for them to perform the way I think they're going to perform, D-Hop is going to be getting a lot of action,
He's going to carry a heavy load. Right.
which is therefore might make him the offensive player of the year. I have to wait and see.
So for my offensive player of the year, I actually had your comeback player of the year, Christian McCaffrey.
Yeah, I mean, that could happen both. He could get both, honestly. He's
Yeah.
that good of a talent. He's
Does a little bit of everything at the running back
He's
position.
that team's guy. What's next?
Defensive player of the year, and I mean, this is
What you got?
This is a guy that has just dominated this award in recent years. Aaron Donald.
I already knew when you
I
said
mean-
dominate. I knew what you were gonna say.
right.
Yeah, when you think of Aaron Donald, one word is dominate. Honestly, he's just probably if he retired this year, he might go down as the best defensive player of all time. Lawrence
Defensive
Taylor.
player of all time is a kind of it's a bold statement, but
Wait till he
defensive
retires.
lineman of all time, maybe.
I got T.J. Watt, who's got cheated the past 2-3 years. The first year, whenever Stephen Gilmore got it, and then last year he got absolutely cheated. He should have. I mean, T.J. Watt led the league in sacks. I'm pretty sure TFLs, pressures. Don't quote me, but I know for a fact he definitely led the league in sacks. And ever since he's been in the league, he's had over 10 sacks every season. I think it's his time. As long as he does what he's been doing, it's his time.
I mean, he's a solid player. I can't disagree
Solid?
with that, but I think this is the Pittsburgh Steeler homer coming out of you. Every Steelers fan you talk to is
A T.J. Watt stand.
Yeah, and I mean
He's
I
good
get-
though.
I get it.
He's an amazing talent.
Right. I get it.
Moving on, I got MVP Josh Allen out of the Buffalo Bills.
Wow. So I mean, a lot of people believe he was up there for MVP voting last year.
I think this is the one, besides Christian McCaffrey's comeback player of the year, this is the one I'm most sure about.
Wow.
If I had to bet all my money in my account, which is a decent amount, I would put it in on MVP being Josh Allen. Just because, he had an amazing season last year, and I think he's only going to improve on it. And I think the Bills are also going to have a really good year.
Right. And I mean, he's got the team around him, so
And the arm strength, talent.
yeah. But at the end of the day, I don't really see anybody topping Patrick Mahomes for MVP. Maybe it's a bit of a normie pick, but
So your pick's Patrick Mahomes?
yeah.
I mean, that's a safe bet. I wouldn't doubt it if he is again. I'm just going a little off the radar and saying
Right.
Josh
I
Allen.
don't even think it's that crazy of a pick
No.
for Josh Allen, but I just
Yeah, I mean,
think Patrick Mahomes.
He kind of
is
had.
that guy.
I mean, I was about to. I caught myself. He didn't have a down year last year. It's just the Super Bowl. He didn't play that well, but that's because the offensive line was completely.
We're
banged
used to
up.
him playing so well. He didn't
Yeah.
improve
No,
this year, so
he stayed the same, so
Right.
people weren't as amazed.
right.
But even though they should have been. So yeah, that's pretty much all awards, really, except for, like, Coach of the Year. But
Yeah.
that's really just whoever the best team was, honestly. You got any random off the dome predictions for that? If you had to guess one.
Ron Rivera leading the 17-0 Washington football team to the Super Bowl.
Sure, yeah, whatever. I got Mike Tomlin leading the 17-0 Steelers to the Super Bowl, 7th Super Bowl.
Right.
Greatest franchise of all time. Real quick here. You got any surprise teams or any teams that you think ain't going to do as well as people are saying? Anything along those lines? Or any players?
Yeah, so for surprise teams, I'd probably say Tennessee. To me, they're a Super Bowl contender, and they were last year.
Yeah.
And they just added Julio Jones, which everybody seems to forget about.
And Ryan Tannehill was slept on. He's a good quarterback. He does what he has to do to win.
In my opinion, he probably top 7 quarterback in the league.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Damn.
He is elite.
Okay.
He is elite.
And I wasn't going to go that far, but hey. Derrick Henry obviously is
Right.
number
one.
Yeah, we're number one. We can both agree on that. For surprise teams for me, I have the Cardinals. Briefly mentioned that earlier. I think they could be. Their ceiling is, a deep Super Bowl run, and their floor is 8-9. What is it, 17 games now? So yeah, 8-9, 9-8.
Yeah.
It could go either way. Just depends on how Cliff Kingsbury is going to coach, how well Kyler Murray is going to stay consistent, all those things. I also have the 49ers. I think they're one of the teams that could go from 0 being last year to improving a lot depending on who's the quarterback.
Right, and they had so many injuries last year.
Yeah.
It's hard to even judge anything off their past season.
The best defensive player for them was out, all that
Right.
stuff. And I think if Jimmy Garoppolo stays quarterback for the whole year, it's going to be similar to last year because Jimmy Garoppolo can only do so much.
Right.
But I think eventually if Trey Lance gets in there and plays well,
Trey Lance saves the franchise.
oh, that's a headline.
Yeah. That's a fact.
You're going to be happy about this. I got the Washington football team as a surprise
There
team.
you go. Finally. I
Had a great year. Had a great year
but-
last year. Really did. Beat my 11-0 Steelers at the time.
Yeah.
The first team to beat them. And they had a really good year last year. They have a great defense. Got Ryan Fitzmagic. He's going to do some things.
I hope
Not
so.
a lot.
I hope so.
For a few games, he'll do things. And then, shit the bed like he always does. But, I think the Washington football team are going to be fine.
See, personally, I was going to say the Washington
But
football team.
you didn't want to be a little biased. It's like me saying the Steelers.
It would have been 100% biased. So.
Speaking of Steelers, I don't think they're going to be very good this year. I think 10-7. That's generous.
I mean, yeah.
Any underperforming teams that people are saying are going to be good and that you think ain't going to be good, basically. Personally, I would say the Cowboys.
I think the Cowboys, they don't really have high expectations outside of their fan base.
That's true, honestly. Yeah, you hit that, yeah.
I think everybody just knows the Cowboys are trash except for their fans.
Their fans hype them up a lot.
Right.
I think I also mentioned this earlier a little bit, but the Dolphins,
Right.
I think people are saying they're going to be better than they were last year. They ain't saying like they're going to be like a playoff team or nothing, but I still think they're going to be the same last year.
They really should have been a playoff team last year. I think they were like 10-6, 11-5 maybe,
Yeah.
but because of seeding and how the playoffs were,
Yeah, and maybe
they just missed it.
Yeah, and maybe not so much like underperforming team as a whole, but I think Tua is really going to be underperforming this year. I don't think he's going to have a good year at all this year. I wasn't impressed last year. I don't think many people were, and people are hoping that he can improve on what they have seen, when he was on Alabama and stuff. But I don't think he will be. You got anything to add?
I think you nailed it.
Okay.
Before we wrap things up here, we're going to go into our top 5.
Yes, sir. Top 5. What was the topic today?
Topic for this week is our favorite players to watch.
Most exciting players to watch, favorite
Right.
players. Yeah, kind of
Right.
intermingle.
And before we start, I just want to say my bias did play a big part
In your
into
top
this list.
5?
Yeah. So.
Mine actually did not. So, well, a little bit maybe. I don't know. Maybe a little bit now that you mentioned the bias.
Right.
I'll go ahead and start, Josh.
Okay.
Honorable mention, I got Juju just because of last year, just because how funny his TikTok dances were, even though they kind of hurt us in the long run. It was
Right.
still funny as hell to watch, especially when he would dance in the middle of the logo. That was fun. I don't care who you are.
Yeah. Yeah.
Number 5, I got Aaron Rodgers.
Okay.
Honestly, could have been
That's
higher.
fair.
He's always been a fun quarterback to watch. Probably the most talented quarterback to ever play the game.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
Were you expecting that?
No, that came out of nowhere.
Yeah, I do believe that too. But hey, yeah, he's always been exciting.
Yeah, I agree.
I think this year he doesn't give a fuck about the Packers, so I think he's just gonna do him and not give a shit about the play calling. Probably gonna see a lot of audibles. So that'll be fun to watch. Him and Devontae both, I don't think care about that organization anymore.
Yeah.
Them two, honestly, might be the offensive player of the year. Might be Devontae Adams, honestly, with how I think they're gonna play.
I feel like he was in the running last year for
Yeah,
it.
he's very good. Number 4 for exciting players to watch, I got T.J. Watt. I think that might have been a little biased.
Maybe there is a little bias here.
Maybe it's just because I watch all the Steelers game, so I get to watch him every single game, or at least try to. But that man gets to the quarterback like no other. Him and Myles Garrett both get to the quarterback like that, and it's fun to watch them in the same conference.
Right.
They're the same exact age. I'm pretty sure they got drafted the same year, so they're going to be neck and neck the whole career. But yeah, T.J. Watt and his celebrations are really cool to watch. I think he does like an X. Number 3, I got Jalen Ramsey. Moving on from number 4, I got Jalen Ramsey at number 3.
Okay.
He talks a lot of shit.
He does.
And it's kind of funny. And he backs it up. He's number one.
Big thing.
He's probably the number 1 cornerback in the league.
Right.
Jair Alexander is another one. But yeah, I really just have Jalen Ramsey at this spot just because he talks a lot of crap and can back it up. And he's just, I don't know. He's good. He's a really good cornerback. He's quick. He's just good. He's good at his job.
Yeah.
Number 2, I got Dalvin Cook. I think that was just from last year. He had a really good year, both running and in the passing game. Also a little biasy in the fantasy football aspect.
Oh, okay. Yeah. I was wondering where Dalvin Cook came from.
He is probably, I think he's the best. No, Christian McCaffrey, because Christian McCaffrey didn't play last year, so we forgot about him in fantasy football.
Right.
But Dalvin Cook is definitely a close second, fantasy football-wise. I think Derrick Henry is better than Dalvin Cook, but I ain't an old head. I don't really. He's good, but I just for exciting players to watch, Derrick Henry ain't up there for me.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
Honestly, yeah. Number 1, I got, this is an easy one, Patty Mahomes.
Yeah.
Very much you can say about this, honestly. It's
some of the plays he makes it's just incredible.
We ain't never seen it.
Yeah. He's been doing it ever since, I don't know if he started his rookie year, but his second year for sure.
Whenever he started, he's been doing it since then.
Pretty much.
Honestly. Him and Andy Reid together are a deadly combination. As long as them two are in the Chiefs, I think the Chiefs are always going to be a top-tier team in the league.
Right.
And Travis Kelce.
Yeah. That I think Travis Kelce is...
That's like, them 3 together, no matter who else is around them, as long as they have them 3, they're going to be just fine. Because,
I agree.
Their defense ain't even that good, but it really ain't mattered.
So, for my top 5...
I want to hear this.
I'm going to start with my honorable mention first. Montez Sweat. I think he is one of the most underrated players in the league. And by your reaction, that kind of just confirms it. He is...
Exciting players to watch?
Yes. Coming off the opposite side of...
And you say I'm biased?
Chase Young. Well, I said I was going to be biased, okay?
Oh, you did. That's right. Okay.
So, Montez Sweat, coming off the opposite side of Chase Young, you think you're safe. You think that's your safe side. No, it is not.
Shit ain't sweet.
He's actually
on both sides
coined the nickname Montez SWAT with the Washington football team fans.
How about corny as hell?
Because I don't know how many people remember this, but Thanksgiving evening, Montez Sweat batted a ball, intercepted it, and returned it for 6.
Yeah, I do remember that. I ain't saying he's a bad player. I was shocked he's a surprise, like an exciting player to watch.
I think he's just underrated because my number 5 kind of takes all the attention away from Montez Sweat and Chase Young.
Oh, I thought you were about to say, Fitzmagic, honestly.
Well, I guess he could have been an honorable mention, but Chase Young, not really much else to say.
He had a hell of a year. He had a hell of a year. How many? He had over 10 sacks?
No.
It's close?
No. Probably like 6 or 7.
Okay.
I had a scoop and score.
Yeah, he had a lot of
strip sacks.
Yeah.
A lot of strip sacks.
And honestly, those are... those are big.
I'm willing to shave a few regular sacks for...
Yeah, I would rather have someone have 3 sacks and 2 of them being strip sacks than just 6 normal sacks and random moments that don't really matter.
I agree. So, then number 4, we got Tyreek Hill. And
forgot about him.
He's just the fastest dude I've ever seen play a game of football.
Ain't he going to race Usain Bolt?
Yeah.
I think I saw that.
Yeah.
Who you got that winning?
At this point, Tyreek Hill, because Usain Bolt's probably pushing 50.
That's right. Yeah, that's like, you know.
But actually, the winner of that, if Tyreek Hill wins, he gets one of Usain Bolt's gold medals, and if Usain Bolt wins, he gets Tyreek's Super Bowl ring.
Oh shit, that's
So
pretty-
that is high stakes.
Speaking of Usain Bolt, you know his son's name Thunder. He named his son Thunder and then Bolt. That's about the dumbest shit I ever heard. But you got, you know, didn't you have Usain Bolt in your top 5 of goats?
Yeah,
Yeah, I
he
mean,
is
yeah.
greatest sprinter of all time.
Now Thunder as a name ain't a goat name.
No,
That's
no,
that's
definitely
an
not.
L.
Number 3, Aaron Donald.
Yeah.
Him just
You mentioned
dominating
him
300-pound offensive linemen is just incredible to watch.
Yeah, you mentioned him earlier.
Number 2 is actually your number 1, Patrick Mahomes.
Yeah, Patty.
I kind of
Who's your number 1 then?
Number 1, Derrick Henry.
Holy shit!
Kind of for the same reason as Aaron Donald. He just has grown men running at him.
And I just said
he can
that,
just shove
yeah.
them off. Yeah, you were kind of just talking down on him, but
See, we were kind of opposite. I'm down with Cook is because like what he can do in the passing game and the running game, and he's shifty and quick. You know, exact opposite. Derrick Henry is a power back.
right.
So like I kind of see the similarities that we have, but just for 2 different types of running backs.
And I don't know if you noticed, I have 3 defensive linemen, and then Derrick Henry.
That's
So
kinda-
I think I just kind of like the
I think you just
power
like the big boys.
aspect.
I
to
think you just like
game.
the big boys.
So hey, maybe that's my type.
What do I got? I got Aaron Rodgers. I got 2 quarterbacks. I got 2 Steelers players. So I mean,
I think you like the flashy.
yeah, I also
the
got down.
flashy
Yeah,
guys.
I mean, yeah, Jalen Ramsey's kind of a wild card there.
Right.
That was really just because of his trash talking. I think it's funny. But yeah, that pretty much wraps up this week's episode of the top 5. Make sure to comment down below whose list you like better. You're changing any of our lists, and yeah, that pretty much ends this whole episode. NFL season starting soon. College football starts Saturday. It's gonna be really exciting. Stay tuned for all those news and much, much more on the Man Cave Podcast. Anyway, peace.
Thanks for tuning in to this episode of the Man Cave Podcast.
Make sure to tune in next week for more up-to-date news.